All right, traders, it is Matt and Jacey here with Empire Algorithmic Trading to bring you your weekly review of VWAP Vision Stock Talk.
It's where the volume weighted average price informs us on who's in control, buyers or sellers. So let's get right to it, Matt. Time for a little stock talk.
Let's go. Jace, it is so good to see your smiling face after a week away. I'm so sorry I've been gone, but it gives us a whole week to catch up on here in weekly review, which is great. So how about we dive right into it? What happened last week?
Let's get right to it. It was an interesting week to say the least. It started off a little topsy-turvy. It started strong, sold off, started weak, rallied up, and then just kind of cruised through the rest of the week. So all-time highs for the S&P 500, Nasdaq Composite all-time high. Small caps rallied right off the 10-day moving average on Friday. Looks really good. Still living below their recent breakout anchor point. And then same thing with the mid caps. Mid caps actually recovered the VWAP, just not an all-time high. So we're still keeping the anchor where it's at, or I shouldn't say all-time, new rally high. So we're still keeping the anchor where it's at, but the anchor's moved for the S&P and the Nasdaq. All in all, it was really a strong week if we just look over at the weekly charts. The S&P was up 1.46% for the week. The Nasdaq was up 1%. Small caps were up about 0.9%, and then mid caps up about 1.4%. So for the week, it was really strong. Bonds held strong for the week as well, and kind of held strong on Friday, rallied up a little bit. We're going to keep watching bonds. We want them to stay where they're at, if not rally. So that's why we're going to keep watching those every day. But overall, equities were good. Moving forward, it's going to be a huge week. We've got a lot of earnings coming our way. I think 20% of the watch list is reporting. I believe 20% of our previous breakouts during this green zone are reporting this week. So it's going to be a very active week. They always say, like they always say, the equities are priced to perfection. But I've been hearing that as long as I've been following the market. They're always priced to perfection. But what's gonna be important is what companies say moving forward. But it was a good week all in all, a lot of fun, and leaders were fully active.
Okay, well, speaking of leaders, the next part that we're going to get into is looking at some of our leaders or some of our big movers, whether winners or losers. And all of these have at some point been brought to us by our algorithmic trading model. If you want access to our daily buy and sell signals, you can get that over at our Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. You get daily algorithmic buy sell signals, some educational videos, and access to a cool little group of traders over there. Again, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And Jace, what happened with the leaders?
It was a pretty good week. I'm gonna flip over to the weekly look here. ALMU was up 30% for the week. ECG Everest construction up 6.3% for the week. Vertiv Holdings up 6.5% for the week.
Wow.
Frequency Electronics up 30% for the week. Bloom Energy up 37%
Whoa.
for the week. Here, let me take that drawing off there. Up 37% for the week. CECO Environmental up 8.2% for the week. Oklo up 9.4% for the week. NuScale Power up 2.8% for the week. And then lastly, Palantir, the lowly Palantir up 3.4% for the week.
Wow.
All in all, it was a very strong week, and a lot of these rallied right off the 10-day moving average. And so it's very exciting to see ECG rallied right off the 10 and the 20-day moving average. Same thing with Vertiv. Vertiv tested the 20-day moving average twice and rallied up very strong. FEIM broke those, kind of formed a little base, and then just rolled right out of that. Bloom Energy tested after its initial attempt at a breakout. Here, let me put these drawings back. Broke out at 2440, tested me. I mean, I think we talked about it during Arrow review. It was flash and sell signals, right? It broke the 10-day. It was trading below the VWAP, round tripped. But I was looking, the 20-day moving average has been the line in the sand pretty much this entire move. And actually the last rally as well, I was looking at looking at previous trends, and the 20-day tends to be a pretty good indicator. So I held it just for that, and I'm glad I did, because it really turned around. took some more profits at 32.04, and it followed through. That's the important thing. That was the part I kind of talked about during the week last week, was a lot of these big moves just came right back down. If you look at Bloom Energy, it had a nice 18% rally right here, but it gave it all back up in the coming days. And then same thing with SMR, right? SMR rallied up strong, but it gave up quite a bit of that. Found support in case of NuScale, found support of the 10-day, and completely turned it around as the week progressed. So it was a pretty exciting Friday. I mean, look at CECO. It just rallied right off that 10-day. And then Oklo, after shaking me out, bounced right off the 20-day moving average. Had an opportunity to buy it back. I just didn't. And then it continued to rally up on Friday as well. So pretty good. Moving forward, oh, this is also another one too. InnoData might finally be coming together and making a move. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one. It was up 6.2%. It's tried breaking out a couple of times. As you can see, I bought and sold it 3 or 4 times since it's really tried. But it's got this nice little shakeout candle right here, which is right at a red arrow, which is our sell signal. And then it's rallying right up since then. That's usually a really strong signal there when it rallies directly after a sell signal like that. So I'm keeping a close eye on that. But this is what we're seeing kind of across the board. A lot of stocks are doing what we call the 3 and go. It's 3 down days right below the VWAP, right at a short-term moving average, and then starting to rally. We had quite a few signals on Friday do this, but we have a couple more. You have Shopify rallying right at the 10-day. ISSC trading right at the 10-day. Roblox, similar pattern, right at the 10-day. ACMR is hanging out right at the 10-day. So I wanted to take a look since I'm seeing a lot of this trade. I'm like, okay, what does this look like? So I looked at over 580 sell signals since last July, looking for a 3 and go, specifically this kind of pattern, the 3 down, and I found about 50. And so there's some examples that I want to bring out. We've got Axon right here's a 3 right below the VWAP. If you set the VWAP anchor right here, you'll see 3 right at the VWAP, right at the support, quick rally, buy signal, stock went on a tear. Rush Street, we're gonna have to zoom out right here. There's another 3 and go. Stock looks very well extended, 3 and go. It continued to run, bounce off the 20-day, and set up quite nicely for a nice little move. Tesla, here's another 3 and go right here. Good, nice little pop from Tesla. That's a very tradable rally. This one ended up coming back down. It broke the 10 and the 20-day, but that you could have made some money on that move there. Advanced Micro, if you go way back here, there's a 3 and go right there. And then it continues to just rally up from there. Kava Group, where is that one? I got this one marked on here. This is its first base. Let me find that 3 and go. There it is. This is what some of them do. I wanted to bring this one up as this is how half of them tend to go. Half of them just rock like Axon, Tesla, AMD. The others really shoot up and then come right back down and then flash another sell signal. So just want a word of caution. Rode, similar pattern. It flashed the signal and then kind of rolled over right away and continued to trade off. ARM, same thing. It flashed the signal right here. And then this one's a little bit of a flawed. It tried to come back. It came back a little bit and then flash. It wasn't a real 3 and go run, but we'll just keep an eye on that one. And then it continued to sell off afterwards. DraftKings, let's see, where's that one at? There it is. DraftKings, very similar. There's a quick 3 and go, and then it continued to sell off. As you can see, it was a little bit of a flaw. There's a little bit of a down day there before it started to run. So just another thing to look for. And then ASST, this is one of our worst stocks of the run so far, and it was a 3 and go. Down 3 and then continued to rally. As you can see, it has that little dip there, which could be considered a little bit of a flaw in the 3 and go. But during Arrow review, we talked about this was not a good setup. It was pretty extended, and it kind of proved itself. But it was another example of a 3 and go. So but it's just like any breakout, right? They either flame out spectacularly, or they kind of bounce around and tease you a little bit, or they just go. And so it's a totally legit signal. It's pretty exciting. So be aware that that's what we're seeing a lot of until the market takes a little bit of a correction, which could start this week with earnings. But I don't think we would see as many leaders following up as we are right now to some weakness and just those massive runs. I mean, the S&P is still trading. It's just touching right on the 10-day moving average. We're moving the anchor pretty much every day. There's new stocks setting up. They're just different bases. The the thing with stocks is the longer the base, the harder and slower it is. Think like ALAB, right? Um, we got this nice deep cup, and when it first attempts to break out, there's a little bit of resistance there. It just takes a little bit of time for that accumulation to work through all this overhead resistance, all these sellers that are still here. Even though on a VWAP basis, it's trading at all-time high territory, on an absolute basis, there's still some people are losing money. So it's
Yeah.
working out of that. About 20% of them will just continue to go. An overwhelming majority of them are just going to do what ALAB did, just kind of move up and then test, move up and then test before they really get going. Same thing with the shorter bases, except it's kind of reversed. Instead of the move taking a long time to go, the moves happen very fast. So you have a 3 and go base. Those things might move 15, 20% in 5 or 6 days and then come right back to earth. So you got to be a little bit quicker. The shorter that base, the more aggressive you could be on the buy, but you need to be more aggressive on the flip side as well on the sell. So where stocks will take on like ALAB, it's probably going to run a while. It could very well
Mm,
go up 30% before it starts testing a little bit. If this
right.
was a 3 and go and it's already well extended, let's say like Tesla, when it did its 3 and go, you see it was already pretty well extended from its buy point down here, right? Or
Yep.
even this buy point here. So shorter, quick, easy run, but a nice fast comeback as well. So just be aware that you're going to want to be really aggressive on your profit taking and don't leave yourself too exposed because a lot of times this is just preceding a correction. So we've got earnings coming up. Like I said, it's a huge earnings week. The market has broken out nicely from here, but it hasn't really tested. So maybe today, maybe this week is the week it tests. My hope and my sense is it's not. My sense is it's going to be probably a week, maybe a week and a half out before we start seeing a dip. I hope I should say, and I want to say I think because I hate predicting the market because the market is unpredictable, right? But my sense
Especially with earnings.
is especially with earnings, right? So my sense is, especially if some have been really coming back, I just don't see a lot of these stocks finding this much support at the 10-day moving averages right before earnings like this. If there was any consternation or hesitation on institutions' part, I
Right.
think that's tipping their hand, right? That's a pure momentum play. There's a lot of institutions are just snapping these shares up the second they can. And that does not happen in good markets. You know, we saw that, or, sorry, that does not happen in bad markets. We saw all that during this period here, during this period here, stocks were getting crushed, breakouts were getting smoked. It was a very challenging market. This was just forget about it, right? Like we weren't even trading here. This was just sitting on the sidelines. We
Yep.
got active right back here,
Cash,
and it's
baby.
been cash, baby. We were talking about it that entire time, man. Cash is king. It was really fun watching the market just drop 2, 3%. It was just insane. And then we just started getting back in here, and it's just been pretty much easy going ever since. So it is going to dip. If you look historically, the last time we came busting out of a bear market, we had a nice little correction. It rallied up about 10%, and then it kind of came back pretty hard, and then went on from there. What I'm looking for is we're probably going to see something like this. This is kind of what I'm thinking. We're going to see a break of the 20-day, a little bit of a test. I think their 50-day moving average is probably down here. There's probably a VWAP from some low or something, but yeah, let's see if we can find it. There it is, right there. Right at that 3 and go. Look at that classic 3 and go right there. 1, 2, 3, off she goes. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. This is where we're at, I think. Where we're going to potentially be at, where we have been, I should say. So history is any guide, and it usually is. It always is with the market, which is why you study historical patterns. But
Yep.
it's just a good looking market and a lot of good stocks. We've got a heck of a watch list. There's about 200 stocks on the watch list this week, which is significantly higher. There's quite a few 3 and go set up. There's some really big AI names on the watch list that are new to the watch list this week. So that means they're starting to show some momentum and catch our price targets. But pretty exciting overall. As always, right? Follow the rules. Don't go chasing anything that's crazy extended. Keep your losses tight. Follow the 1 day rule. If it trades down immediately after, it's probably a fail. Cut your losses at 5%. If it trades down 5% from the buy point day, It has a 40% probability of recovery, more than once it trades below that. So, just follow the probabilities and you're going to do pretty good. It's a really good market. Just make sure you're being smart about it. That's all.
As always, be smart about it. That's the fun of it, right? Well, guys, that is our weekly review for you today. Thank you so much for watching here on YouTube or listening on Spotify. We appreciate you being here with us. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, help us jump up in those rankings. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. We're on all of those. Like to give out some freebies on Sundays. We also like to do some Trader Tip Tuesdays, and some other fun content on there. If you want to learn more about who we are, what we do, check out our website. That's VWAPvision.com, VWAPvision.com. And as always, find us on Patreon, where you get access to those algorithmic daily buy sell signals, educational videos. Jason and I walk you through how we use this in our personal trading. Also get access to our community of traders. That's patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And as always, Jace, I cannot wait to see you for Arrow Review. And happy trading, dude.
Happy trading, my friend. It was good seeing you, and we'll talk to you in just a little bit.
All right, see you, man.